What's up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans, to the latest episode on the channel. And in today's episode, it is international break, unfortunately. It feels like we've only just got over one, and another one's come around the corner. So I thought, why not? Let's have a look at the standings in the table, review each team and see how they're getting on. Obviously, fans, if you're watching this from each of the teams in the Championship, let me know how you think the season's going for you. I want to hear your highs, lows, players that you've been excited by, everything. I love reading all your comments. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we hit 800 by the end of this month, 900 before the end of next month, and 1,000 for the end of December. That would be the ultimate dream. So make sure you smash that subscribe button and the bell notification. And don't forget to like the video. We are aiming for 30 likes. And let's take a little bit of stock and see where the teams are and some big surprises. Starting off top of the table and the absolute whirlwind start they've had. Coventry City, 19 points from 9, unbeaten, with 5 wins and 4 draws. They've smacked in 27 goals and conceded just 7. I'm sure I read somewhere that they've scored 12 goals in their last 3 games. Wow, it's blistering. And obviously for us Baggies fans, seeing Thomas Asante on 5 goals this season so far after 9 games is, we knew he was a good player and he run and did a lot of effort, but just getting firing that many goals in, and obviously they sit top scorer as well of Hadji Wright as well, which is just the style of football they play is fantastic. Just attack and score as many goals as you want to. And, credit to Frank Lampard as their manager. When he first took over, it was almost like a steady in the ship, and then he started to get them playing nice football, and they made it to the playoffs, and then it's gone on from there. And I do think this year, I think they're going to go up. I think if they continue this way and continue playing the way they do, I don't think a lot of teams will stop them. And looking at really who's challenging towards the top end of the table, they haven't really got much to worry about. So all credit to them. They're attacking, they're confident, but they're also hard to break down as well. And if they keep it up, they're not just a dark horse. They're going to be a real contender for this season's title. And again, I do think that they're going to be up there towards the end of the year. I think they'll be autos. I do. Just the way they're playing and the goals they're scoring, how much free-flowing football they're playing. So, yeah, credit to Frank Lampard and Coventry fans. I hope you're enjoying your season and doing this so far this season. Up in second place, we have Middlesbrough. Again, another surprise package under Rob Edwards. 18 points, only 1 loss so far this season. Tight defence, just conceding 6 goals. Rob Edwards is steering them well. They might not be, lighting up every single game, but you know what? You'll take consistency when push comes to shove, and that is the big thing for them. They're not scoring loads and loads of goals like Coventry are. They've only scored 12 goals so far this season, but again, they've only conceded 6 goals. They are a very, very tight unit. As we found out, we went up to the Riverside. Very, very tight unit. Can they hold it on for the rest of the year, and can they continue this sort of form? I do think they're going to struggle because, they're not scoring a lot of goals, and the XG isn't that high for them. I know a lot of people are going to say XG means nothing, but they're not getting a lot of chances in games. And I just think they're going to start struggling soon, and I think teams will pick up the way they play. And, I think we need to grab something at the Riverside. If we'd got the right team, I think we would have grabbed something. So, although they've had a fantastic start, I can't see them keeping it up, unfortunately. And I think they'll drop down the table a little bit. Whether they can stay in the playoffs, running, who knows? But no, definitely a surprise package for the first 9 games of the season. Up next, you got Leicester City, 16 points, 4 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. Their manager, Martí Cifuentes, is in a place this season. The squad looks capable. The challenge is turning those draws into wins. That's the difference between playoff chatter and actual contention. And the big thing for them as well, if they got that 12-point deduction looming over them, will it happen? Will it not happen? I think the EFL are pushing for a real big punishment for them. And, you've got to worry that if 12 points is being touted and the EFL are still pushing for something, how many points deductions do they want to give Leicester? So that is a bit of a worry, because if they give them a 12, 14-point deduction, they're back down towards the bottom of the 1 point above bottom of the table if they take a 12-point deduction now, which it's scary when you think of it. And I know it's early in the season, they can get those points back up again, but it's almost a kick in the teeth when you've done a decent start, And I do think the wingers that they've got in Mavididi and Fatawu, the bench as well, they've got the players they can bring on. I think Leicester will be in and around, the top half of the table. If that point deduction is more than 12 points, then I think a top half finish will be fantastic. If it's less than 12 points, they're going to be aiming for that playoff position, and I think they will get it if it's less than 12 points. Next up, and another big surprise for me, Preston North End. I see a couple of their fans in my comments every now and then talking about how well they're doing this season, and I'm really surprised. Last season you were close to going down, and now look at you, fourth in the table. Won four, drawn four, only lost one goal, one game, scoring 11, conceding what we got there, conceding 7. So, you guys, again, fantastic start to the season. And I think from reading a couple of games where you have struggled, some of your players have been out injured, but when you've got your full team to strength, it looks like you're putting teams to the sword. And again, very, very well done. Paul Hagenbottom in charge. Conceded a few, and their attacking numbers are modest but effective. You've got you organised, and they look like dark horses. Will they be in and around there? Can they hold it up? Who knows? That is the big question. I can't personally see them holding it on for the rest of the season. I think, again, a 10th to 13th place position for Preston this season will be real good achievement. Making that step from last season, and then next season, again, go on one step further. I think that's where Preston need to be going this year. I think they, get some good results together, aim for that, 10th to 13th spot, and then next year push on again and see if they can break into the playoffs. But no, fantastic season. In 5th, we've got Stoke City, 15 points, punching above their weight, some would say. Up front, they're not lighting up the scoreboards, but their defence has been solid. Mark Robbins, we all knew realistically he was a great manager from what he did at Coventry. Last season, he struggled with them, but this season he's brought in his own players, brought in a style of football he wants to play, and they are playing some very, very nice football. Sorba Thomas, fantastic signing for them. We were the first team to hand them a defeat this season, but again, they still look really good against us and quite comfortably could have come away with a draw or even the 3 points if their players would be putting the shots on target and if they'd have scored a couple of the chances they had. I do like the way they play Stoke, under Mark Robbins. They're not the Stoke of old under Pulis, which is, what we get taunted as at the moment. Everyone sees Stoke, West Brom, teams like that and think, oh, it's Tony Pulis, it's long ball football. We're not like that. And both teams now play some very nice, attractive football. And again, Stoke City, probably, in my opinion, have got one of the best keepers in the league in Johansson. So, yeah, Stoke, I think they can keep it going, I think their home form's going to be crucial. And I do think that Stoke have got a team together that will be pushing towards the playoff spots, in my opinion. Up next, again, surprise horses all in this top 6 so far. QPR. This top 6, who would have said that after 9 games of the season going into the second international break, that your top 6 would consist of Coventry, Middlesbrough, Leicester, Preston, Stoke, and QPR. Leicester's the only one in there that you'd probably go, that's fair enough. Coventry, maybe, but the other guys, wow. 15 points, goal difference of only -1. They've won some big games, lost some tricky ones. The manager in charge, Julian Stefan, I believe it is. Defence has been a bit shaky, but their fight and to win games is there, and that's crucial for them. And the fact that they are digging in deep to pick up results is fantastic for them. Again, last season they struggled, but this season it looks like they've turned a corner. Will they keep it up? Again, I don't think they will this season. Again, aiming for that 10th to 13th spot and pushing on next year, I think is best for QPR. And obviously, it's only 9 games into the season. This is only my opinions, guys. So, don't go slating me in the comments thinking, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is just my personal opinions. And I think QPR, you've had a fantastic start to the season. But I just think, come towards the end of the year, I think you'll be in and around that 10th to 13th spot, aiming to push on again next year. Obviously, in 7th, West Bromwich Albion. 14 points, Ryan Mason at the helm. Early days for him. Glimpses of, promise. 9 scored, 10 conceded. We need to bring more balance to the team, in my opinion. We looked, good defensively in some games, but then we were completely open against Millwall. Such a strange situation seeing how open we were against Millwall, but knowing how good we were when we played against Leicester, Blackburn, Norwich, Stoke. It's such a contrast in teams. It's almost like we have one team that turns up and is absolutely fantastic, and then we have a backup team that turns up and is absolutely useless. Sorry. So disappointing. We've won 4, drawn 2, lost 3. I want us to push on this season. I really do. I really want us to be in and around the playoffs, and I hope we are. But again, anywhere between 7th to 10th, I would take this season under Mason. First year in charge of a job. It's his first proper crack at something, and championship football is not easy. We know it's not. So again, yeah, for me, bit of a tough start, but hopefully things will get better after the international break when we get some of our players back. Up in 8th, we've got Millwall. Start of the season, quite slated by Millwall fans for saying you'll be, an average mid-table championship side. But, up in 8th, level on points with us, only down by goal difference, and that's due to that smashing from Coventry midweek last week. Alex Neil is managing. I still don't think he's the right manager for you guys. I know, obviously, you beat us 3-0. Yes, very good. But I just don't think he's the right manager to take you forward. You have got some players coming back from injury. Obviously, Millwall fans, I read your comments on our matchday breakdown, and that's probably why you've had such a rocky start to the season. But you've got your key players coming back. And you know what? Your home form is going to be so crucial. You fight for everything. You're big, you're tough. And again, if you can turn the den into a fortress and pick up results there, away form just comes naturally after that. Once you go on and get team confidence at home, everything else comes, with it. So I think they've had a fantastic start away from home, but not so good at start at home until we turned up and, gifted you 3 points there. There you go. Hopefully that can turn on your style for you at home and you can start picking some more points up. Next up, we've got Ipswich Town, 9th place. They beat Norwich for the first time in 16 years, I think it was, at the weekend. Or should we call them, Ipswich West Bromwich Albion, because they're back four. Kipri, Furlong, O'Shea, Palmer. All they needed was Townsend to play, and the whole back five would be Albion back five. So whoever's doing the scouting there must be an Albion fan, in my opinion. But Kieran McKenna runs the show. 15 goals scored, 8 conceded. They've got attacking flair, and also have a game in hand. Let's not forget as well. If they nail that match, they'll leap into serious contention. And, you got to feel sorry for Blackburn because they were winning that 1-0, and now it's got to be replayed in full. But again, Ipswich have got some fantastic players, The players that Jayden Philligan that scored an absolute screamer against Norwich he's such a fantastic player. And again, the sort of players you've got playing for you, you shouldn't be, scrapping it out in the Championship. You should be fighting in the Premier League, in my opinion. So let's see how you get on for the rest of the season. Bit of a rocky start, but I think you're starting to put a bit of a run together now. And again, I think you'll be in and around the playoffs towards the end of the season. You've just got the players and the backup to do it. In 10th, you've got Bristol City, 13 points. Gerhard Struber in charge, obviously after Lee Manning left and went to Norwich. Mixed results, capable of some good stuff, but I think you need some more stability. If consistency comes, you could surge further up the table. After a fantastic season last season, I don't think you'll be getting playoffs this season, in my opinion. I think, you just, as I say, the consistency isn't quite right for you guys yet. And I think the manager's probably not helping that as well. Whether he can push on and help you get into the playoffs, I don't know. Whether you go back in for Manning after he gets sacked from Norwich, because I think that's going to be a very, very, likelihood very soon happening with Manning going from Norwich. But again, good side on your day, can beat anybody at, Ashton Gate, but I don't think you've got the firepower again this season to push you into the playoffs. But top half of the table finish for you guys, definitely. Next up, we've got Watford. The manager merry-go-round continues. They've just sacked Paolo Pezzoloni and replaced it with, reappointed, should I say, Javi Gracia. Talk about upheaval. They've got quality in the squad, but until the manager situation settles, I don't think anything will go on at Watford. You can't expect results after sacking your manager 9 games into the season. 1-3 draw and 3 loss 3. No goal difference, 0 goal difference. They've scored 11, conceded 11. They sit on 12 points. Why are you sacking your manager? I know there's rumours of stuff going on in the dressing room and players not being happy, but players shouldn't have that much control over a manager's, sacking. If you're not playing the way the manager wants to play, then the players shouldn't be playing. And anybody walking into that Watford job it's just silliness. You're basically walking into a free payday because if you don't perform, they'll just sack you and get somebody else in. And I really feel sorry for Watford fans because you can't get behind a team or a manager or anybody if you keep sacking and keep moving on different, managers. It's just horrible, horrible situation for anybody walking into that job. Up next, you've got Swansea City, and they have got in charge Alan Sheehan, I think it is. Yeah, Alan Sheehan, in charge of those guys. I think, mid-table finish for you guys is going to be really good. Up and down, strong attacking moments, but also leaks at the back. Rumours are you're not very happy with the manager. Will he stay for the rest of the season? I doubt it. I think if you continue dropping silly points and dropping silly goals, they'll get rid of the manager and try and bring someone in a bit more experienced. But again, I think, mid-table finish for you guys is really a good season for you. And I don't think you'll be pushing for the Premier League for a few years, in my opinion, until you get, some more hidden gems in, like, your Wilfred Bonney, Meachus, Gylfi Sigurdssons, them sort of players. and I think you will just be mid-table Championship. And yeah, fair play to you guys. If I think that's really good for a Welsh team like Swansea to be mid-table Championship. Up next, Charlton Athletic, bit of a dark horse for me. They've done really well under Nathan Jones. They're compact, they're hard to beat, and they seem to nick games 1-0 or, they seem to be very, very good at nicking games late on. 12 points, good start for them. I predicted them to be towards the bottom half of the table. Again, I still have you towards maybe from 20th to 15th, which, if that's where you are this season, I think that's a fantastic season for you stopping up. Next year, you can build on that and grow on that. And that's what I mean. If you can keep in that position, keep a solid structure, keep your manager, next season, get some more players in and go again, then you'll be looking to push on. But yeah, a solid season if you finish anywhere between 20th to 15th, and I think that's pretty fair for you guys. Up next, Portsmouth in 14th, 12 points. John Messina manage them. Portsmouth are a strange one. They turn up in some games and look really good, and then other games, they just look null and void of ideas. Fantastic winger in Murphy. Obviously when we sold Fellows, there was rumours that we were going to go in for him, but we never did. And I think at this level, he's really good player for him. And I think, again, they're the sort of team that could finish anywhere from 7th to 15th just because they could go on a run and turn Fratton Park into a fortress. But there's something, the quality in the team, they still drop silly goals. And again, when we saw them at the Hawthorns, there's no way they should have drawn that game. They should have been down to 10 men and we should have had a penalty. It was just such a silly game to watch. But as I say, Portsmouth fans, you guys could be anywhere from 7th to 15th. And again, if you just see bits of progress every year, if you finish higher than you did last year and it's progression, then again, reset for next year, get a couple more players in and go again. I think that's the sort of method that really works well for teams that have come up from League One and built a bit of a solid foundation. Build your foundation and then push on. And I think, again, Portsmouth are going to do that. Up next, you've got Hull City. To be fair, they're the second top goal scorer in the league with Ollie McBurney, who's doing absolutely fantastically for him. Serge Jarkovic in charge. They score, they concede goals. That's Hull City for you. I think stopping up this season is crucial for you guys. Obviously, again, massive scare last year for you, nearly went down. So if you can build on that performance, set up a solid foundation for next year and go again, then I think that'll be perfect for you guys. I really do. I think anybody really, Hull City downwards, bar one or two teams, stopping up is key for you guys and then build on that for next year. Hull City are one of those teams. Stop up, build on it next year and push again, and really turn your home ground into a fortress. And I say that for a lot of teams, but I think mentality-wise, going to a home ground and knowing that it's a tough place to go, building that, you're coming to our place, you're going to have to fight for everything, is crucial for a team to push up in the league. Up next, you've got Birmingham City. Mixture of results, mixed bag. Rumours that a lot of fans are not happy with Chris Davis in charge. And for a strange one, they've lacked firepower up top. They've signed some really good players. Tommy Doyle, Kyogo. But they don't look like they're gelling together yet so far, and they leak goals at the back. If they can find a striker who's more on fire for them, they might climb. But again, they look almost a team that thought, well, we're coming up from the League One, we smashed the points tally, we're going to absolutely walk this league. And I think they had a bit of air of arrogance about it walking into this league, and I think it's backfired for them. And again, Chris Davis, there's a lot of noise about it around the fans from reading on social media that are not quite happy with him, which, again, you've got to stick with the manager. It's his first time managing in the Championship for an extended period of time. So give him that chance and let him push on and build a squad. Again, Blues, I know they've done something stupid like the Albion did when we first come down. You've signed a lot of players towards the end of their careers on big wages and hoping to go up. It's a risky move, and if it pays off for you, if you start getting those players firing, you'll be up the league. But if it doesn't pay off and you finish towards the bottom half of the table, that's when financial fair play starts to come in and take control, and then that's when you have to be a little bit worried. I think for Blues this season, a solid finish would be anywhere from 10th to 14th. If you can string a couple of results together, fantastic. But for me, again, it's about stopping up this year and building next year. You sign some good players, but build that structure first. Build the core key players that you want to build around, and then push on next year. Southampton in 17th. That one is the biggest shock for me. The money and the players they've signed. Will still is the manager. Is he going to stay for much longer? I don't think so. They've drawn far too many. 2 wins, 5 draws, and look like a team that can't control matches, need more of a killer instinct. And when I watched the South Coast Derby, the Portsmouth Southampton game, they didn't look up ready for the fight, and it's strange to see that. That's probably one of the most heated derbies pretty much anywhere in the UK. And Southampton didn't look up for it. Portsmouth looked more like winning it and taking the 3 points, and that's saying something for the quality that Southampton have got. Signed the division's top assister in Tom Fellows. They've got one of the division's top scorers over the last couple of years in Adam Armstrong, but nobody seems to be clicking yet. And I don't know if it's something that the manager's not getting across or the players aren't gelling, but something's not going right at Southampton. Fans, what do you think? Is there something not quite working that you're not quite happy with? Is Will still got very long left? I don't think he has. Speaking of managers that haven't got very long left, the next 2 teams again, Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, 10 points. For you guys, it's stay up. Just stay up this season, build next year. But I don't think Phil Parkinson will beat your manager for very much longer. After consecutive promotions, they're learning the Championship is not an easy league. It's a grind. Don't get me wrong, they've scored some fantastic goals. They scored 2 against us, and we managed to beat them 3-2. But they have conceded some goals as well. And Connor Cody looks very, very rocky at the back. He just, for such a player with such experience at a higher level, he looks so weak on the ball and so slow now. And that's the risk that Wrexham made. They tried to, again, do something similar to Blues, sign some big name players on big money that if it doesn't work, and you're stuck with them, on financial fair play will come and bite you in the arse for it. So I don't think you'll keep keeping your manager for very much longer, and I think you'll be sacking him. And I think, again, just stop up this season, get the core players and build around them. Up next in 19th is Norwich City. That is massively shocking for me. Liam Manning in charge, who did a fantastic job at Bristol City last year, but they've been really poor. Only 2 wins, 5 losses. Goals are coming, but they're conceding too many. Got to get the team belief back fast, or else it'll get really ugly for them. And again, they looked very flat against us. From speaking to Bristol City fans and some Norwich fans this year, they look very much like a team that what Manning would be like. They pass the ball to side to side to side, then pass it forward and then backwards and then to side to side to side. They're very slow in the build-up, and Bristol City fans, I've been talking to a couple of them, and they said that's Manning's style. He's very slow in the build-up, and Norwich fans aren't enjoying it at all and want him gone. And again, I can't see him staying for very much longer. To have somebody like Josh Sargent in your team and not getting him in the right positions to score goals, it's silly, really. You've got probably one of the division's best scorers in your team, and you're just not even feeding them the ball. Uh, It's so strange to see how managers work and how managers think. But yeah, Norwich City stopping up at the current rate you're going. Can you stop up? That's the worry for you guys, and hopefully you can. Derby County, 8 points. John Eustace leads. The Championship has been very tough to them this year. They've picked up 1 win, and of course that comes against us. It was if Derby only pick up 1 win this season or 2 wins, it's going to be against us. Derby could go on a result of not winning the whole Championship and then play us and still beat us. Just it's so infuriating when Derby come to town, especially when John Eustace is in town as well. 2 of our bogeys straight in as one go. And yeah, will you stay up though? The teams below you, there's probably 1 or 2 teams below you that shouldn't be where they are. And that's probably the biggest worry for you guys at the moment. There's teams below you that shouldn't be where you are, and you're going to drop down into that relegation zone if you're not careful. Got to do something different, John Eustace. It's no good just playing the same sort of way that you're playing, because against us, you got opened up too easily, but we just having one of those off days where we could have played all night and not scored. And if you continue playing like that against other teams, they'll just rip you apart and rip you to shreds, especially when you get to someone like Coventry or Leicester or somebody like that. And obviously you've already played Coventry, and I think they put 5 past you at the start of the season. That's the big worry. You're so open at the back, and teams will rip you to shreds for that. Next up, you've got Blackburn Rovers, 7 points from 8 games. Valerian Ismail in charge. What did I tell you, Blackburn fans, at the start of the season? He is not the manager for you. Rigid in his style, will not change. They're vulnerable. They need to defend better, should be sharper going forward. But he won't change anything. He says, this is the way we're going to be playing, and this is the way only we're playing. And for me, until you sack him, relegation is looking very likely for you guys. And I really feel sorry for you because you shouldn't be anywhere near the bottom of the table. Realistically, in my opinion, Blackburn is a Premier League club. All day long, Blackburn Rovers are a Premier League club. Some of the players you had back then, Yakubu, just absolute fantastic team. And you shouldn't be down here. And again, until you sack Valerian Ismail, it's not going to look good for you this season. It's a big worry for you guys. Next up, Oxford United, a team I did have going down. I picked up some good results though, against some top clubs. Leicester, they picked up a result. Will Lankshire's scoring goals for them. It's just, can they stop conceding goals? Because they've conceded 13 goals so far this season. And only picked up 1 win and 3 draws. Gary Rowett is a good manager, but they're finding the jump from League One to the Championship tough, and I can't see you stopping up this season. I'm sorry, Oxford fans. I think you're going to struggle to pick up any more results, really. And a 22nd for you guys, I think you'll be happy with that one. 23rd, Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sorry, guys, you're going down. There's no beating around the bush with that. Henrik Peterson is in charge, conceded 20 goals already. That's brutal. 1 win only. Look, bottom is already calling you. Heavy work ahead. Points deduction looming as well because your Chancery has not paid any of the wages again. And EFL aren't going to play around with you guys. The amount of issues going on, they're going to sanction you even more, put even more point deduction on you. I genuinely can't see you picking up positive points this season, and it's horrible to say, but you're on 6 points at the moment after 9 games. If you get a 15, 16 point deduction, you're on -10. Where are you picking your results up from? Players are going to start going, well, what am I playing for? And how long are they going to take it before they say, well, my contract's null and void now because you're not paying me, and walk away, and you're left playing under 21s, under 23s. It's horrible to see for such a big club like Sheffield Wednesday. And I really do feel sorry for you guys. I hope you sort it out. We've been in a similar situation with our previous owner, Gushan Lai. It's not nice. It's not enjoyable. You hate worrying about your club. And that's the big thing. A football fan shouldn't have to worry about if they have a club to support. And Sheffield Wednesday fans are very much like that at the moment. And in bottom place, and I think this is the biggest one for me and the biggest worry, Sheffield United. 24th with just 3 points, 1 win, 8 losses. They've scored 3 goals this season. All season, they've only scored 3 goals and conceded 16. Minus 13 points, 13 goal difference. Chris Wilder's returned, but it hasn't worked yet for them. They picked up 1 win against Oxford and then lost again last week. And it's worrying for Sheffield United because you shouldn't be anywhere near there. After the season you had last season, and obviously you had a rough start with the manager that you've got rid of, and bringing in Chris Wilder, you've won 1, lost 1 under him. Are you going to turn it around? Maybe you will after the international. Maybe you get his ideas back in and you'll start playing. But to be conceding the amount of goals you're conceding and the lack of goals that you are scoring, it's worrying times for you guys. And I think it's worrying times for both Steel City teams, really. Can you both be stopping up this season? I think Sheffield United will do. I think they'll turn it around and start picking up the results. But what's going on at both Steel City teams at the moment? And I really feel sorry for the City of Sheffield. Both teams are not enjoying it at all. And will both teams go down at the end of the year? Who knows? But yeah, that's it. That's my clean sweep of the Championship table after 9 games. Coventry are flying, tight chasing behind for the playoffs, and a brutal battle at the bottom. This league never gives you a break. Let me know who you think will win it, who's slipping away, and who's your bet on to survive. I'll be back after the international break, obviously, with some more icon reviews, more midweek analysis. I'll see you guys real soon.